Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Well, we are marching to the NFL draft and we got a great show for you today on the channel. We're going to talk underrated rookies. Going to be joined again by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, and we're going to each give you 4 names. We're going to give you a total 8 players that we believe are undervalued going into the draft. We've been watching the mock drafts. We're watching what draft analysts thinks of this class. So we got 8 names. We got some deep names. Now, I did not include Damian Martinez in this show. I've been touting him as an undervalued rookie for months, so I wanted to give some new names. We just recently dropped our overrated rookie, so go check that out as well. Help me get to 17K subscribers by the NFL draft. I think I'm like 250 short. Doesn't cost you a thing to hit that subscribe button. If you've been a long-time viewer of the channel, help me get there. Let's not waste any more time. 8 players that we think are a little underrated, undervalued going into the NFL draft. Enjoy the show. All right, Jason, let's get to our underrated rookies. All right, we're going to do 3 each plus a bonus player that are going to be little deeper players. Maybe, obviously all day 3 guys that we believe are underrated right now. I'm going to kick us off this week, okay? And I want to talk about Isaiah Bond. All right, he's my wide receiver 5 right now. And the more I watch Bond, you and I went back and I watched the all 22 film reviews that we did, showing what we liked about him. He was a space creator. He was, I think, really physical for his size.
His size.
I think his yak ability is underrated. I think he is an explosive player. Now, why is he underrated? Well, he's my wide receiver 5 right now. And Mel Kiper is, whether you like Mel Kiper or not, I don't know, but he's got him outside his top 10. NFLDraftBuzz.com, another site with a lot of good NFL draft information. He's outside their top 10. So, a mock draft database, he's running, he's wide receiver 10. So I'm a wide receiver 5. I think he's explosive. Now, I don't believe there's any wide receiver 1s in this class, right? I don't think they're even Ted McMillan. I think if Hunter goes as a full-time wide receiver, so I'm a little higher on him because of his explosiveness, right? I think that's what the NFL wants. They want twitchy guys, get the ball in his hands. Speed. He is like a speed. He's a Jalen Waddle light 2.0 for me. He was my wide receiver 1 in that class, but I think Isaiah Bond is undervalued. I think, we're stuck on these top 3 or 4, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up being one of the best wide receivers in this class. And I know there's players, people out there that are like, oh, but his lack of production. And, I kind of followed that mantra early on as well. But I'm just watching the film. I'm watching the traits. I'm watching what I see on film. And yeah, he didn't have those, 1,000-yard seasons when he was playing at Bama in Texas, but this kid can outright play. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like one of the top 3 receivers when it's all said and done in 2 or 3 years from now.
I absolutely love Isaiah Bond. I think this is a great call. And you and I have watched him quite a bit. And we both agreed, like when we went back to the film, it was just really impressive. Like he's kind of a forgotten name, unfortunately, because of that depth chart of Texas. But yeah, this is a excellent call. And I'm going to go to the wide receiver position myself. And I was just trying to pull up my rankings because I realized I didn't have those up right now. But I'm going to go with Florida wide receiver Elijah Badger. And I absolutely loved what I saw from him last season. When DJ Lagway got in there, Badger really came on, and we saw that deep threat ability off the line of scrimmage. I love how he eats into the cushion with urgency. He's deceptive when he gets up to the defender, and if he can pull that move where he fakes inside, hits outside, and he's got that second gear to really stretch the field and has that deep speed to really take the top off of defense. And I think that is going to be super valuable at the next level. So Elijah Badger is not being talked about a lot. I currently have him at wide receiver 15 in this class. And I think that he's just kind of being slept on a little bit. That NFL's looking for speed, and he's got it for days. And he spent his time at Arizona State for 3 years prior to that. He really came on when he hit Florida playing against better competition. That goes a long way with me.
Yeah, I can see Corey Pereira, one of my other draft analysts I talk to all the time, smiling. He's Elijah Badger. I like that call too, man. He was so good at Florida this year. I mean, he won on the boundary. He was just really productive. It's really his best season of his college career was this season. So I like that call. As an obviously day 3 selection. All right. The second player I think is a little underrated right now. I'm going to go Trevor Etienne. He's my running back 9 right now on the NFL draft big boards. And Jason, then like right before the show here, I'm pulling up your big boards and I was like, baby doll, you got him at RB7. So obviously you are on on board with this guy. And I'm going to be dropping a film review tomorrow on his game versus Auburn, and I'm going to be narrating that game and just kind of showcasing why. And at RB9, I think I might be a little too low on him. I think maybe I should be having him, as an underrated player even higher. But this dude has, my sweet feet meter is something I look at: short area quickness, lateral ability, the able to make guys miss. And this film versus Auburn and the all 22 films that we've watched on this guy all season long, you know, I think he's got some fantastic movement skills. Creating space is a term that we use for wide receivers. Well, that's a term that I use for when I scout running backs. And this guy creates space, the way he hops in, throughout the line of scrimmage. He's Georgia tough, right? Forward lean. You don't play ball at Georgia and not come out just being a physical runner. And you got to have power in the NFL. And given his size, I think, a little, I think he's like 5'9" or just about 200 pounds. He packs a punch, and his pass catching ability is icing on the cake. The dude can catch the ball out of the backfield and can do damage at the second level. I mean, I have him like a Bucky Irving / James Cook type career if he gets that opportunity. I think he's going to maybe follow like the Bucky Irving. He's going to be, drafted with a backup in mind, but they get him on the field and he's just too explosive to keep him off the field.
Nailed it. It's that explosiveness, which we absolutely saw in the postseason as well. And he a couple of times he really helped Georgia out with his rushing ability and just kind of putting the team on his back with carrying the workload at the running back position when they're always trying to find identity there. I think that is a great call, and obviously I love him considering he's my RB7. I'm going to go with the running back as well, and I'm going to go with SMU running back Rashard Smith, who is a converted wide receiver out of Miami. Spent 3 years in Miami before he went over to SMU. But that combination is absolutely deadly, man. He rushed for 1,217 yards, 14 touchdowns last season at SMU. And having that background as a receiver, I mean, one, the way the NFL is using that versatile weapon is, something that every NFL team is looking for, just to have that edge. And in fantasy football, we absolutely love that, especially in these full point PPR formats. I think Rashard Smith on the right team could absolutely do some damage. I mean, the Saints, Alvin Kamara, they might be looking for someone to replace him. I think he would be a great fit. Ben Johnson with the Bears as that versatile type of weapon with a pounder. He could be the lightning to somebody else's thunder. I kind of like what Rashard Smith can be at the next level. He's my RB12 currently. I just think that he might have that limited snap share, maybe like 13 solid good touches. So he's a bit capped with what his potential could be, but I think the skill set is phenomenal.
Yeah, a lot of people compare him to Tyrone Tracy, right? That converted wide
Right.
receiver to running back. And the dude is explosive. I just wish his lower half was just a little thicker.
Me too.
He's really light. I mean,
smaller Tyrone Tracy.
yeah, exactly. I don't think he's that much smaller. Tyrone Tracy's got a little thicker build, but same kind of
A little bit thicker
profile,
build. Right.
going into the draft. Okay, my third underrated player is I'm going to go with Elijah Arroyo. Okay, every kind of list I look at, it's Tyler Warren, Colston, Mason Taylor, and Arroyo, right? But if you were a big board subscriber and you went to my tight end board, you're going to see him at the very top. And this might be a spicy call. And I'm going to caveat this with, the medicals have to check out, right? He did have a knee injury in 2022, right in the middle of his college football season. So that's why he doesn't have the production. If you're a box score watcher, you're going to go look at the stats over 3 or 4 years. And it's like, he had a good thing. The Senior Bowl, you were there. You saw the speed. You saw the vertical ability of this guy, the soft hands, the space creation, the versatility. And, he was a really good blocker. And then the Miami All 22 films that we have on the big boards, if you want to scout these players for yourself, you guys should really check it out. I mean, he was deployed like running across the line of scrimmage as a lead blocker for their run game. And he was pretty effective doing that. So, is he going to be able to anchor the end of a line of scrimmage off a tackle? Probably not, but he's got the size. But I think he's the best route runner of the tight end group. And so this might be a little spicy, but to do that, you watch the all 22 films. You and I watched them. We did his scouting report not too long ago. This kid can play, and I don't know what's about his profile that people are concerned about other than his medicals, right? If his knee's all dinged up and, he might fall in the draft, but if he's healthy and he gets an opportunity, I think he's going to be the best tight end in the class.
Obviously, I can't disagree. Seeing him live was extremely impressive. I mean, every time he caught the ball, you could literally just hear it hit his hands and just the physicality of just when he was making that separation move and the movement mechanics are phenomenal. So fluid for a guy of his size. So yeah, Elijah Arroyo is definitely going to be a riser. I think we'll be surprised where he goes in the NFL draft. It's funny, man. We're kind of going hand in hand with the positions, and I'm going to go to the tight end position too. And I'm
Nice.
doing this live, Brandon. This is a guy that's not even my rankings because I was watching some South Carolina film and Joshua Simon. I
Ooh.
really think that we are kind of just overlooking this kid. Highly athletic. Loved what I saw when I put on the Texas A&M versus South Carolina film just the other night, and I was kind of blown away. Ran a 4.65 at the combine, 38-inch vertical. Spent 4 years at Western Kentucky and then transferred over to South Carolina for 2 years. So he's a bit of an older prospect. He's going to be 20. He's 24 now. His birthday is in November. So, but I kind of like the fact that he's got that much experience and I love the athleticism. He was at times the entire South Carolina offense when they needed somebody to step up. It was absolutely him when Xavier Legette went down. I think this is a kid that we need to be talking about a little bit more. And he's not in my rankings because I just didn't have him on the board to fill in there, but he will be in there. And I'm going to slide him right into that tight end 10 spot. And I'm very intrigued with what he could be at the next level. I think he's that versatile pass catching weapon that NFL teams are absolutely going to love. He understands how to exploit soft spots and zone. Definitely being slept on. Absolutely underrated.
That's nice. Talk about a deep sleeper. Now, listen, the fourth players that we decided that we were going to each talk about tonight were deep sleepers. I can't wait
Yeah,
to see who your
I
deep
went
sleeper
defense.
is, dude. I mean, if that's not your deep sleeper, I mean, I can't wait to see what you got coming up
Oh, I had
next. But
another one too, but
yeah,
I
okay,
wasn't
you're
going to go
going.
that far.
I
Yeah,
love you, man. You're
yeah.
going like day three guys. I like it. So because that's where we find our sleepers, right? So I've got
Hey,
another
George
sleeper.
Kittle win the fifth round, so you never know.
Absolutely right. So I want to talk about a player, Jason. I went back again and watched our all 22 film breakdown a year ago on this guy, Mr. Jaydon Blue, Texas running back. I
Hmm.
got him as my RB 13 right now. I got him over, RJ Harvey. I got him over Giddens, but Rashard Smith, who you just talked about, all the popular names right now, but no one's talking about Jaydon Blue. And why would they? He never had a featured role at Texas, and I get why. I mean, there's nothing but stud running backs at Texas, so he was always seemed to be relegated to the second team. But damn, when they needed someone to lean on at times, he'd certainly produced. And again, I went back and watched the film breakdown that we did. His vision and his ability to cut back and navigate through the line of scrimmage was, I thought, really good. Really good in pass pro too for his size and the hands and the explosiveness. Again, I'm leaning to the explosive players in a lot of what I'm talking about tonight because I think those are the players. You need the physicality and you need the space creation to win in the NFL. James Blue's not going to, pound you and win with power and physicality. He's more of a space and finesse back. But I'm telling you, I think he's going to sneak into day three. Um, and I think there's ability that he could carve out a role in a committee on an NFL roster. I think he's got some explosiveness. Like he could be like maybe a Kenneth Gainwell he was to the Eagles, somebody like that, a fill-in spot
That's
back,
actually a really good comp. Yeah.
who could, help you out in the passing game and go in there and spell your starter. So of course he's not going to be a starter and he's going to be a flex option in Dynasty most likely. But Jaydon Blue, I just forgot how much his film is really, really good. So I'm excited to see where he lands in the NFL draft in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type of player that NFL teams are going to be like, let me see what I can do with this guy based on that
Mhm.
film, explosive playmaking ability, and let me see what I can get out of him in this system. So, yeah, I like that call a lot. I got another deep diver for you. And honestly, since he's not currently in my rankings, didn't know really where to slide him in. Might be in that Antoine Wells range in the early 20s based on what I saw. And this is a Senior Bowl guy. I got to see him live. And the more I started watching him at Arkansas, I was like, dang, man, there might be something here. Spent spent 2 years at Arkansas, didn't amass, 500 yards receiving, but that's gonna be Isaac Tesla with 2 A's at the end. Performed really well at the combine too, ran a 4.43 at 6'4" and 214 pounds, almost a
Ooh.
40-inch vertical, a 1.51 split. I mean, this is an explosive speed, big receiver. We seem to be getting a lot of those lately, but this is a kid who I think he just needs a little bit more opportunity and coaching in the right system. And, we can see something kind of special from him. At the Senior Bowl, he just kept flashing, and I didn't know much about him. You have your list of names that you're monitoring, and I just
Right.
kept seeing this kid catch the ball and, separate pretty quickly. And I was like, dang, who is this guy? And he was so big, he stood out a little bit. I thought he might be a tight end. But Isaac Tesla definitely in person was very impressive. And after watching some of the film, I mean, I like the contested catch ability. I like the fluid navigation in zone. I just think he needs the right system with the right coaching staff to understand how to maximize his skill set. And we could see something here. So Isaac Tesla to me is definitely an underrated receiver going into this NFL draft.
I like it. I like it. 4 quality day 3 sleepers from Mr.
Yeah.
Jason DiRienzo tonight. I love it. So there you guys go, man. There are 8 players that we're a little higher on than most out there in consensus, whether it's mockdraftdatabase.com or the NFL gurus out there. And that's what we do, right? We're going to call it like we see it, watch the film, and it's always good to get a different point of view.